Tigers starting 5, and you see the early strike and the early advantage for the home team.
Clemson's going to go to Eli Thomas early and often. The tallest player for Citadel, 6'9". Their 5-man, Najdawi, is only 6'7".
Connor Kern, second from the left on that lineup chart. One to keep an eye on for the Bulldogs. He's a graduate transfer with 2 years left. He's a good shooter. Bulldogs also have a new point guard. That's him with the ball, Lou Stallworth, who's played at El Paso and also he shot 33 beyond the arc himself.
It looked like the Citadel was almost giving Amir Sims the 3, and Sims said, if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it.
Down the lane goes Kern, run and gun. And it'll come down to Stallworth. Here come the Bulldogs. You're going to see a lot of threes out of that guy. Frierson thought about the pull-up. Harris underneath Najdawi, preseason All-SoCon player. Harris again. And likewise at the Citadel. Nothing doing for Shelton Mitchell. Here's Harris. Stallworth, their new point guard, replaced a player named Frankie Johnson who decided to move on after a couple of years, but Stallworth gives him a stronger player at that position. Little pump fake, Najdawi, 79. Tigers lead the all-time series 61-22, but at the pace they play, they can upset just about anyone any night, because if they're hot in your night, it can be a long one. Skara can't get it to go. He's trying to add some offense to his defense and rebounding skills. Here's Stallworth the other way. Thomas. Eli Thomas has been laid up for about 2 weeks with that injury, so he's trying to get back in the flow. It's the transfer from Arkansas State with the ball. Kern going to drive inside, and he's able to get there. Is Reed taking it to the hole. Tigers, as you noted, returning fire quickly.
That's right. It seems Clemson wants to run. Citadel's been playing more of a half-court game, running their offense, and the Tigers have gotten out in transition.
Something we don't expect to see is a whole lot of mid-range jumpers out of the Citadel.
That's right. Their coach told us, Coach Baucom told us in pregame, they don't even...
And eventually the scrappy play taken away by the Bulldogs. Real good hustle that time by the Citadel's Hayden Brown to return to the upstate. Mitchell, last season he hit him 37% beyond the arc.
Who needs to run the offense when you can just shoot that right there, Pete? Shelton Mitchell didn't need much time to knock down that 3.
Rayson Williams to get healthy. Scar on the drive. And here come the Bulldogs. Just into the game. See how fast the Citadel goes in their half-court set. Oh, and a little pickpocket that time by Williams, who a year ago had 34 steals. Frierson. And
Tyson, draw your man and dish. Let the big guy finish in Amir Sims.
If you like scoring, you found the right stop on the spectrum this evening. Down. He worked on a couple of those in the preseason. Marquise Reed led this team with 58 steals. A year ago, that was a pick 6. Tigers back up by 2.
Gets this Tiger crowd going, and a large contingent of students here.
Crossover spin, feeling it from out front.
Shelton Mitchell's feeling it, especially from right at the top of the key. He's a few feet off the three-point line, and Citadel is kind of giving him that shot, and he's going to take it.
Brown thought about it. All these guys have the license to shoot for the Citadel team. Almost the Loyola Marymount Paul Westhead theory back in the 80s of shoot only if you have the ball. Look at Reed scrapping among the big guys. A deflection though to Brown. Why not, says Williams. John Newman III, son of the former NBA player out of Richmond on the court. Stallworth. Tyler Burgess, who grew up in Pickens County, just into the game. Pounds of fat and added 15 pounds of muscle this season.
Coach said he's eating a lot more salads.
There you go.
He smiled when he said that. So it's a good thing.
And guy, they've just gotten back off the injured list. And Eli Thomas throwing it down.
Great pass by John Newman. Drew the defense and found his big man.
Kern. Brown. Oh, he doesn't get it. It's in Tennessee and Wake Forest, among others. 1 out of 2. We're tied up this time at 24. Harris, who was forced to sit out of the Southern Conference tournament, the 2 games the Bulldogs played there. Instead, the elbow jumper.
And that's still one part of Thomas's game that you might want to see develop a little more. The mid-range game, he's been better with the short hooks and the floaters, but the mid-range still has a way to go.
Stallworth. Time of the shot clock. Here's Stallworth from the wing.
This game's been very back and forth, similar to the pace, up and down, back and forth. Neither team been able to find much separation early.
Clemson, a guy you got to stay on the shoe tops of. Such a good shooter for them. Reed, spin move on Thomas. Oh, and Stallworth battling inside. Comes away with a rebound. Kern. Little gentle finish by Amir Sims. And the Tigers sophomore now with 7 points, and that leads all scores so far in the game.
One of the downsides of shooting so many threes is those end up in long rebounds, and long rebounds are much easier to start the break with.
Burgess hit one to roll out.
Reed's had 2 of those that were in and out, completely rimmed out there.
Off good looks as well. Stallworth driving on Newman.
Miss on an earlier ball screen.
Already 10 lead changes, nearly a turnover by the Bulldogs on the inbound. Turnovers so far, 4 by each team. Reed giving on the baseline. Nash Dowie.
Clemson continuing to play well and score in transition, but that's been huge, Pete. Najdawi has been almost non-existent so far. Their leading scorer from a year ago averaged almost 16.
Couldn't get a third straight one to go from that spot. Bulldogs do something they rarely do, slow the pace.
They've slowed it down more than I anticipated. And I think that's because Clemson has embraced the pace a bit too. So just out of pure necessity, they want to run some clock and might not have the depth to keep running court for Clemson. Mitchell and Reed each with 6.
I think he's the guy that's got to kind of, in a combined way, fill the void of Dante Grantham and Gabe DeVoe's departure. Stallworth for 10 points. Hey, Marquise Reed's going to score a whole lot more than that night in and night out. What a job throwing it home. Back up by 5 is Clemson.
You mentioned Reed's pick 6 earlier. That was a bit of a scoop and score.
Tigers making it happen defensively and offensively. Stallworth, little on big, kicks it. Williams. Stallworth, no look. Williams thought about it from out.
Play somewhere else. Clyde Trapp, because he can play both guard spots, I think you're going to see a lot of him, and it matters how he plays. If he plays well, he's going to earn more and more playing time.
Stallworth will crossover inside on White. Line move, and a nice one by Newman. Had a Greensboro day. Brad Brownell saying he's been playing better than they actually expected this early in his career. Tigers back up by 7, matching their largest lead so far in the game.
7-point lead for Clemson. Finally starting to feel a little bit of separation there. It was back and forth early, but Citadel's cooled off a bit from the floor, and Clemson's gotten it done from the free throw line.
And nice finish at the bucket. Marquise Reed.
Marquise Reed saw Clyde Trapp stopped under the bucket looking for an outlet, and Reed cut right to the middle. Good cut from Reed.
First player in double figures scoring-wise in the game now with 10 for Reed. Good find on the wing. Kern.
Clemson doing what the Citadel would never do. Pull up for a mid-range jumper in transition. And right now for the Citadel, the 3 is failing them in some ways. Only 6 for 17. Clemson shooting very well from the floor and doing it from all 3 levels.
Reed for the Bulldogs. Coming up on 10 on the shot clock as you see. Stallworth will fire over Sims.
He's going to keep taking it. Clyde Trapp looks like a more confident version of himself from last year, and that's natural as he's a sophomore. He's progressing, but he knows there's minutes out there to be had, and he's taking full advantage of his.
Trapp with 8 points in his sophomore debut. Little scoop that time and knocks down the tray. And correct me if I'm wrong, that is the first career three-pointer for the Tiger out of Greensboro Day.
It is, and Reed there, the rebound and the assist. Marquise Reed right now has 9 rebounds so far, and it's not even halftime.
Biggest lead of this opening half for Clemson. Caden Rice, who led him.
Tyson had to throw that pass very quickly. He couldn't think about it, and he didn't. He threw it on instinct, because if he waited 1 more second, that thing would have been tipped or intercepted.
Sims now with a career high. And Amir Sims. 10 points 3 times. Oh! Folks would have gone nuts had the freshman hit that one. Here come the Bulldogs. Stallworth on their campus, but they have a hard time defending the man of the hour, Amir Sims, who continues his good scoring night as he's building on his career record now with 14.
Amir Sims has yet to miss a shot. He's 6 for 6 from the floor, 2 of 2 from 3. He looks like he's up to the challenge of filling that Grantham void. He's looking incredible tonight so far.
As down
3-year-old guards, and Duke will have 2 18-year-old guards. I think that's going to be a big factor in that one and throughout ACC play.
They got a guard with a smooth touch indeed. Marquise Reed, 35% beyond the arc a year ago. It's his first tray of the game in 4 attempts. He now has 13. He's right on the heels of Sims for the game scoring high. Bulldogs trying to find the right shot. Tigers have their biggest lead of the night. Stallworth.
He's frustrated with that, but that foul was big. Skara now with 3 fouls. He heads to the bench. David Skara has only played 2 minutes today because of foul trouble. I don't mind it. I think that's a good call, but Sims frustrated with that one.
Bruce Stallworth, guy they're excited about. He's out of Los Angeles, so he's seen the Pacific. Now he's living right on the Atlantic. 4 on the shot.
Didn't have an open look, though, to make the pass.
Oh, good job that time by Curran on the interception for the Bulldogs. Here's Frierson. And Sims doing a good job. Nash Dowie, who read him.
Gates Marquise Reed's assist on that play. Eli Thomas had a chance to give his guard an assist and couldn't do it.
Harris undersized to go down low at 6'4", so he kicks it out. Tigers will have to like this pace and the fact they're forcing the Citadel to recycle an offensive set. That is not what they want to do. Harris. Marquise Reed wants to start making that more regularly, something he's really worked on the offside. Going the other way is Stallworth. Count it.
Newman right now, because you have Skara and Sims both with 3 fouls. Probably going to sit till at least the next media timeout. We'll see what these freshmen can do.
Around, so it wasn't a travel. Oh, knock away right there. And the quick hand shown by Williams. That's what he does. Frierson. Recovery defense by Burgess, but for naught, as Thomas just uses that power inside.
Clemson with the turnover there, but went right back at the Citadel and attacked that defense. Didn't try to slow it down. Credit Clemson for staying to their game plan. But with the Citadel, if you turn the ball over and give them threes, because of how well they shoot it.
Energy gain the Tigers needed. That one's knocked away. Alex Reed. Stallworth. And now Kern. And the lid remains on both ends. It remains an 11-point Clemson lead.
Citadel still trying to push it. They're going to set something up here. They looked like they wanted to get something in transition.
Plus per game, second to last in all of the NCAA a year ago.
Part of that is when you shoot a lot of threes, you have a lot of long rebounds, and that leads to easy transition buckets for Clemson. We've seen a lot of that today.
Harris off the pump fake, and he goes in. Oh, that one from downtown. Shelton Mitchell. Another 3, first since he had a couple back-to-back from out front in the opening half, and he's getting close to a double-figure night.
Mitchell's 3rd 3 of the game. All of his points have come from beyond the arc. We know he can shoot the 3 well, but it seems that he's trying to raise his percentage even more from last year and become even more reliable beyond the arc.
Harris, March team, as that one's not going to go for Mitchell. Can you imagine the frenetic pace in that game with Smart and the Brand Texas play? Other end, how about Skara? He does the trick.
And that's why Baucom was so frustrated. You miss the 2 there, it leads to easy transition points for Clemson. That's a 4-point swing.
A little step through by Stallworth. 4 personal fouls for their team. Burgess, or I should say Brown, with 3 so far. And you see the team foul lead, though, belongs to Clemson here in the second half. Shelton Mitchell continues his good work. Nash Dowie inside. Sims back out on the floor, so under 10 to play in regulation. Backdoor feed. Sims going to try a long 2. And a battle between a couple of Bulldogs, won by Quason Williams. Frierson steps and shoots.
You're going to knock down shots like that, you can shoot it whenever you want in the shot clock.
Reed's 2 out of 6, 18 points in the game, 2 out of 6 beyond the arc. They tried that a little bit tonight. Skara tries to exploit it. There's Stallworth.
Skara's been quiet, mainly because of that foul trouble. He hasn't been able to get in an offensive rhythm. I think you'll see more from Skara offensively as the season progresses.
Stallworth defended by Mitchell. Shot clock now at 15. Nash Dowie, big on big. And inside on Tom.
Used to defending guys that are that quick, and at about 6'8", he's not going to defend like guys like that in the ACC.
Frierson's used to hitting him with guys in his face, couldn't that time. Bulldogs keep it. Stallworth on Skara. Mitchell can, and he does.
Huge shot from Mitchell, the veteran, the graduate student, and that time they brought a double to Eli Thomas, which freed up Shelton Mitchell. But credit Mitchell for stepping in and knocking down that 3.
It's really a simple principle in basketball. When you reverse the ball, chances are good things happen.
3 of 4, 75%. I think Brownell and the staff would take that any day of the week.
15-point game. 5 Tigers in double figures scoring. 2 of them, Trapp and Sims, have established new career highs in the first game of their sophomore seasons. Nice job by Trapp right there. He still was able to create the steal. And again, they can get really 25 quality minutes out of him per game, they will take that, and you could see that number go up even more because he has all the ability in the world to be a big-time contributor to this squad. Williams looked at the crossover for a moment. Bulldogs know they got to get going down. Now says David Scarr, who joined the team after 9 games a year ago, started playing in games rather, figured it out that a year ago he just needed to be a defensive and rebounding guy, but he's added some